linear codes, designs, and graphs. Have you done much on graphs? Are you going to do much on graphs?
I've not yet dug deeper in graphs.
Yes.
And
if it is graphs, okay, and some binary linear codes, designs, and graphs from some orthogonal, you not say some, from the, because you have named them, eh?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah, you have named the orthogonal groups O8-2 and O8-2. Since you have named them, you say it. Okay?
Okay,
Now,
got it. Yes.
Coming down, we have the supervisors and so on. You have now the overview. Overview, you generated it or Beamer generated?
Yes, Beamer generated.
Eh?
Beamer
Did
generated.
you generate it?
No, I didn't generate it.
It is,
It's the Beamer. Yes,
it
yes.
is Beamer that generated.
Yes.
That's why you have introduction. Okay, usually on the Beamer we have that topic at the top, and then we have the small ones. But it's all right, eh? We look at that. Sasa tunaendelea, we have statement of the problem, objectives, significance, limitations, literature review. You can have the limitations before literature review. You don't have limitations before literature review. And here we will not have limitations, we'll call the scope. The scope.
Yeah.
Showing your boundaries, where are you going to reach and what are you not going to, okay?
Yes,
then
doctor.
Have research methodology. Where are the basic definitions?
I didn't put the basic definitions.
We need some keywords, and those will be your
Yes.
which should come even in the after the introduction.
Yes.
So let us look at the keywords you are going to have. What are those keywords?
The linear codes.
Linear
codes.
Designs, yes.
Graphs.
3, graphs, yes. What is a graph? 4,
orthogonal groups.
You'll have the group and then you define the orthogonal groups, eh?
Yes.
5. You must define, because you are maximum subgroup, isn't it?
Yes, maximal subgroup.
What a maximal subgroup is. What else?
Stabilizers and orbits.
Orbit stabilizer theorem. Do you need it really?
No.
We are not using that, but you can define the orbit and the stabilizer. Then 7. Theorems
representation.
You want, okay, a representation, and not only a representation, you'll talk of what is important here again is a primitive permutation group.
Yes.
Permutation group. You see that? Those are things you need to capture. What else? What else do you need to capture?
Modules.
Yes. Modules. Okay. Then the most important. Yes.
The most important.
Yes.
Irreducible modules.
Modules here you'll have irreducible and reducible.
Modules.
Yes. What else? Even representation, you'll also have a reducible representation. And in your
Yes.
final, you must state the Marquez theorem, because this is important when you are simplifying. Then you will also have to make mention of the softwares you are going to use, isn't it?
Yes.
You are
Yes.
using Magma and
GAP.
GAP. Then, what is our theorem? What is our theorem? The theorem we need, which is very important for your introduction, that makes all this work to be done, is what? Classification?
The two
Huh?
classification of finite simple groups. Classification of finite simple groups.
Yes, that is very, very important. And it should come in your introduction, okay?
Yes.
It should come in your introduction. So these things here, this will be, this Marquez theorem, you talk about it because it's going to define your work. You use
Yes.
it in the first method. So these are some of the keywords that you will have when you are defining your basic concepts. You have to define them, okay?
Okay.
Now, so you have done that. I'm looking at your introduction.
Yes.
It took a long time. It's still okay, but you can still improve that statement. Now we are talking of the slide. We are talking of the first slide, the slide 1. You want to introduce slide 1. It's about introduction, and you want to introduce the classification of finite simple groups. You don't tell the whole story. You don't tell the whole story.
Yes.
You see, it took a long time. That is yours. When you be talking, you'll talk about it. But on your slide, you will simply define this. You define it and say the classification of finite simple groups, you define them as building blocks, isn't it? As building blocks of all.
Yes.
Then you say it has been classified in the 5 classes. Then you say the first class is what? Huh? The first class?
The cyclic group of prime order.
Of prime order.
Then
Good. Then 2?
Alternating group of at least degree 5.
Minimum degree, isn't it? Alternating groups,
Yes.
the n greater than 5. Yes. And then
we
the
have
third?
The Chevrolet and
Chevrolet groups, which
group.
ones are those? Okay,
the
4
unitary groups.
and 5. So on your slide, you'll have all this. You'll say the classification of finite simple groups has been done into 5 groups. So you'll only have this on the slide. Okay? So you can talk about how it has been done. In your talk, you'll talk about the history. You see that? In your talk, you'll talk about the history. But on your slide, you'll only have these 5. Okay? That's only what people need. On your slide, when you are talking, you'll say how and this. And then on slide 2, slide 2, now, after you've talked about the history and the classification, you now talk about you say you are going to talk about yours, which is the orthogonal group.
Orthogonal group.
And it lies in which class? And you explain why you are taking that group, the purpose why you chose that group. You talk about it. Then you'll come here. You need to open the gap in slide 2. In slide 1, you have said that the understanding of this. So now you'll open the gap here in slide 2. Open the gap. So you are talking of uncovering the inner structures, isn't it? Inner structures. And this is done by study of combinatorial objects.
Yes.
Can you see what I'm writing?
Yes.
You can see what I'm writing. That is
Yes.
good. So you are now you are opening the gap. Or rather,
Yes.
you are talking about what? You are opening the gap as well as justifying, justification, as well as what is the other thing? Justification, and what else? You are justifying and the significance. It comes together with the significance. So you are opening up the, and you are saying this and that, and then as you are talking of the inner structures and why now the direction of the research now is using combinatorial. Some people have gone the other ways, but others have gone this way, and you are saying you are going the second way, the use of combinatorial objects to open up the group, to bring more understanding to the inner structure of the group. Now, apart from that, you are saying now in the significance, you are talking about the importance just of studying about codes themselves. Yeah?
Yes.
Code, binary codes. These ones, they are used in communication. They have their own importance, even without the CFSG. They have their own importance. They are used in communication. Okay? And maybe you can explain further in error correction. In error correction. In error correction. Then from there, what is the next thing after you have talked about the error correction? The next thing, remember on the slides, you are just putting a dot, but explain, okay? We don't have a slide that has more than 4 points. That will show you don't know what you are reading, the Bible. And here it's not the Bible. We need to understand your interpretation. So after that, we have seen the importance of the codes and its error correction. So now you have justified that there's a gap. And now you want to justify that this research can be done. This research can be done. So now you'll say how people have done. You'll say now you are going the other way, isn't it? You have decided to go the other way. You have not yet come to you have just simply said, I'll be looking at this group, but you have not reached the level of defining your group. Then here, you are talking about what others have done. What others have done. That is the literature review. Then you'll give a few examples of what you have already said, the direction in which you are going. Now you are saying what others have done. You'll talk about the J1, the J2, the L3, 4, and all those groups that others have done. Then you'll say different methods. You'll define the 3. And you don't say the Kimur, you say method 1. That's now on another slide. Method 1. Then you say this method is called the Kimuri method 1. Then you say method 2. That is, you'll write here the theorem itself. Method 3, method 2. Then you say the theorem that you are using, justifying. Then method 3. Method 3. You also say you define. So if this is KM1, this is KM2, and this is the method of the maximum subgroup, or using modular representation. Using modular representation. So you explain about those methods slightly. Okay?
Yes.
If you can't remember it, just write the theorem and then you explain it. Theorem and you explain. Then this one here, this is where you bring the metax. Okay? This is where you bring the irreducible representations, dividing, slashing, axing, until you get to that. Okay? That is the metax. Then after that, because here you have said these are the methods you are going to use. Then you will come to your actual research now. Your actual research. Then now slide 4, you will define your group. when you define your group, you'll give something about the group and you must quote the Atlas of Finite Groups.
Groups.
Yes. Then you'll say how many maximal subgroups it has, the primitive permutation, the maximal subgroups, and the primitive permutation representations that it has. So you tell us something about your group. You have two groups. You have O8, 2, O8, 2
H2
plus,
minus,
and you have the O8, 2, the negative.
right.
You
Yes.
have those two. So you will explain. One slide will carry O8, 2 plus because you have to have the maximal subgroups and the
Yes.
representation. Okay? Then you talk of
Yes.
even irreducible representations for this. It is important when you are getting the internal structure. The internal structure. Then after that, you will explain how you are, these methods will be explaining what kind of research you are doing. And then from there, you will talk about objectives, or we should have talked about objectives. We'll talk about the other slide now, slide. Oh, this one should have come up there before the method. You talk about the
Yes.
objectives. If you can see, we have load objectives. The first one is after you have done all this, you want to uncover the objectives. Number two, you are looking at the properties. What kind of properties are you looking about? You are looking for which kind of properties? You are looking if there are any optimum. And so you will therefore have to define what we mean by the parameters. When you are defining your code, you must give the parameters of the code. And when you talk about the parameters, you'll have to talk about optimum. And when you talk about optimal, you talk about the database of all optimal codes and where they are recorded, and even give the URL for the optimal codes. You'll do the same for designs, you do the same for graphs. And then after that, you've done your objectives, you've done your method. This is merely a proposal. Yes. What next now? What next?
Methodology.
Yeah?
How we are going to do our work.
We talked about the methodology, method 1, method 2, method 3.
Okay, so
yes. What else? What else? Yeah, I think you tried in that. Then you just ask for you are saying significance, and that is what you want to do. That is all you want to do. Because according to a proposal, you have not yet found the results. So you just say, this is what I'll be doing in my research. You have addressed the significance, you have addressed the gap, you have addressed the justification.
Yes.
You have addressed the method, you have addressed the objectives. Now, problem statement. Problem statement comes after the literature review, you have opened the gap. Okay? Then you'll have in another slide, you'll have problem statement. I can see you have all these things here. So it's just a question of organizing them and adding those things we have said. Okay?
Okay, Doctor.
So now with that, your work will be through. Then you'll have the references, you'll have the work plan, and eventually the budget. And with what you have, this thing should be done by next week. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, Doc.
So I don't want stories on your slides.
Yes.
You have not understood what I want, isn't it?
Yes, yes, I've understood.
You can keep them for your copy, yourself.
Yes.
But the slides you are going to present should just have the points, the major points. Thank you. Anything else? Any question? Up to that point, we are with the Dr. Marani.
Yes.
Yes, any questions that you have?
Now, maybe I do it again.
The slides for presentation.
Yes, I do the slides for presentation.
Yes, do the slides and then you bring them to.
Okay, sawa, Doctor.
Sawa.
Okay,
by
Doctor.
Monday, we want to schedule a defense on Tuesday.
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's okay.
So no Easter for you, although I'm wishing you a good Easter, full
Yes.
of what?
Wishing you and Dr. Marani a good one too.
Yeah, but you can take advantage of this Easter. You are breaking, eh?
Yes, we are breaking
So
today.
that you depend next week, the following week, you go to inaitwa in SGS. Eh?
Yes, faculty.
They still need a faculty board, a faculty defense,
Yes.
faculty. Let's do it week after. We do the department next week because your
Yes.
work is. Then we do the following week. You
Yes.
have already found the codes. You have already found your.
I've found the designs codes and the optimal codes.
You already have them, isn't it?
Yes, I already have them.
Since you already have them, this is just now going through the formalities, and then you publish,
Yes.
and then you'll be out of my way, isn't it? And I'll be looking for a job for you.
Yes, I'll be happy
Sawa
to
sawa.
finish. Yes, thank you for your
Any
time,
question?
Doctor.
Any question?
And I don't have any question for now. I just want to work on the slides.
There is Dr. Marani.
Yes, yes. Elisa.
Yes, Doctor. Yes, Dr.
Good.
Maran.
Just follow instructions.
Yes.
Define then you look for authority in the SGS.
Yes.
And then we publish.
Yes, Doctor.
So much.
Thank you so much for your time.
You are seeing me?
Yes, I'm seeing you.
Oh, good, good. I know
Yes.
that. Am I very smart?
Yes, you're very smart.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
it's fine. Eh?
Okay, thank you
Be
very much.
blessed and have a nice day.
Be blessed too, Doc.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And this is how it works. But now my issue.
Without this country, it's impossible.
Now, that one without it, it's impossible. But